Hey everyone, Ultra Healthy here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from what you might be used to seeing on my channel. This is an unscripted video, and this is the story of how I became the ultra healthy video game nerd. I know sometimes people see my name and think, is he really that healthy? Maybe. So today I'm going to get into that story, and in some cases it will relate to gaming. So it's not completely unrelated to the rest of my channel. So to start from the beginning, basically, I was not always the ultra healthy video game nerd. In fact, I used to be the ultra stay at home by myself playing video games all day and night nerd. I was never interested in health. Originally, I did zero exercise. I had no interest in cooking whatsoever. I figured I would never, ever do that. I was a smoker, actually, until I think I was 25. And just really bad, lifestyle choices overall, staying up late at night, until 4 in the morning playing games and watching DVDs. And it all started catching up with me once I started getting into my mid-20s. Actually, I was born with a heart murmur, which means that you don't have a regular heartbeat. Now, the story that I've gotten from my mother is that the doctors say, well, we make him do some exercise or get his heart rate raised up a bit. And apparently, if it goes away when your heartbeat is raised, then it's not a problem. So we never did any kind of treatment for it or anything like that. But that was there, actually. And about around the time I was 26, I kind of started having some health issues. I was already living in Japan, and it was just related to, just having a really poor lifestyle overall. And I realized that, when you're 17 or 18, maybe you can do those things, but as an adult, it's probably not going to work out. So I needed to make a change. So it all started happening very gradually. I'd quit smoking already, but I was eating cup ramen every few days probably or something like that. So very gradually cut that out. And once I had sort of rested up and started getting better, I started jogging, just a little bit, here and there. And also, I had always been very skinny since I was a little kid. I was always very thin. Even as an adult, I was like 135 pounds. And I always hated that. I always hated my body. And one day, I just kind of realized, well, there's a set series of steps you can go through to change that. There's a way to improve that if you really want to. So I finally did. I decided I wanted to start trying to go to a gym. So I just started out going to, local little small public gyms, just some machines and a few dumbbells. But I did that for a few months, and I felt a little bit better. The big change happened when I moved for work. I've gone through a couple big moves during my time in Japan, and the first time I moved to Hiroshima. Now, when I moved to Hiroshima, I kind of lost my central group of friends that I had built up. Now, I know you say, okay, we'll make a new set of friends. It starts getting harder as you, get older and older. And also, I discovered that in Hiroshima, there are hardly any game shops with used retro games. I mean, it seems ridiculous. Hiroshima is a bigger city than where I was living originally, but there was like nowhere to go shopping for games practically. So, a lot of the things that I had spent my time doing originally were gone once I moved to Hiroshima. So I had to ask myself, what is it that I really want to do? And I decided that I was going to get deeper into exercise and health. It really started after I read a book called Sugar Blues. This was something my sister gave me, actually, and I think it was written in the 70s or something like that. It's a little extreme, but it's all about how refined sugars are, this, really nasty thing for your body, and it's, this very kind of well orchestrated, business. And after reading that, I was like, I really want to try to cut out refined sugars and really get serious. So after that, I started going to the gym 3 times a week, and it was like, I'm going to learn how to do free weights, and I also just decided this is it. I'm going to buy a recipe cook and figure out how to cook. I, knew nothing, had absolutely no idea what I was doing. but I did buy a recipe book, and by some miracle, the first thing that I tried out came out pretty nice. It was like nice food, and I was like, wow, you can eat food that tastes like this at home. So it all kind of came together. I started cooking a couple times a week. I was in the gym 3 times a week, so I was barely playing any video games for quite a while. And after a year and a half about or so, I started feeling really comfortable in the kitchen. I could look at a recipe and be like, oh, I know my tastes, maybe I could change this and this and this. By talking to people in the gym, by reading up a little bit, I'm not an expert, but I figured out what to do, in order to, build muscle. So that was really the time that I made this huge transition from literally, being a video game nerd at home, 135 pounds, to, really being interested in health and exercise and diet. Now, I don't know if it's a result of me changing my lifestyle so much, but once I did finally start getting back into playing games again, I noticed that I was a lot more patient and a lot more determined to get through them than I had been before. I'd always been into old games, which are generally pretty hard, but I was not really good at them. I didn't generally beat them. I guess I was just easily discouraged back then. But I remember very clearly, for some reason, I decided to try playing Valis 4 again on the PC Engine CD. This is a story I've told people sometimes. And I had remembered that game seeming completely impossible originally, and I think in the back of my mind I remembered that it was the cathedral, the area with the stained glass windows. So I started playing Valis 4 again, and again I got to that level 4. It is the cathedral level, and you play it the first time and it just seems so unreasonable. But I'm sitting there, I'm trying it out, and I'm like, nothing wrong with the control, perfectly responsive. Hit detection is fine. There's not really any problems with, the development of the game. It's just extremely hard. There's just, a lot of very precise jumps, and these very fast enemy patterns that you have to remember perfectly. And that particular level has a time limit that can really screw you up. So I tried again and again and again, and somehow I managed to get through it. And thankfully, that's a game that saves your progress. So somehow I beat that level, and I'm just like, this is possible. This can be done. So I played that game with determination for a few weeks, and after quite a number of tries on the last level with that final boss, I beat it. I beat Valis 4, and it was just like, I've done something that my former self would have sworn is absolutely impossible. And that was also when I started playing video games differently also. I finally beat all the Valis games on the PC Engine CD, and just generally, just kind of playing them differently. And now people who follow me on social media may have seen that last year in 2018, I beat 66 games, including some very notoriously difficult games. So I don't know for sure. I can't say, that it was because I got into health. It probably maybe it was just me growing and becoming more of an adult overall. But, around that time when I, changed my lifestyle and got interested in exercise and diet, it also made me a better gamer. So eventually I moved again. I did leave Hiroshima. And when I came back, the gym that was closest to where I live, I went once thinking I was going to join, and I wasn't particularly happy with the conditions or with the facilities. So I decided that I was going to buy a home gym. I had an extra room. So I bought a home gym. It was not particularly expensive. It was a mid-range one for about $1,000 or something like that. So, now I work out at home. I try to do cardio also. It's very difficult to balance all these things, work, YouTube, exercise, and all this stuff. But I do generally try to keep up with it. And people who see me, if I tell them I lift weights, they're probably like, really? You're still really skinny. I am still pretty skinny. But now I'm, 155 pounds. So I put on about 9 kilograms of muscle since I started working out. So at this point, I think the ultra healthy part of my name refers to a passion for life in all aspects. Obviously, exercise and eating right are a big part of that, but also creativity, appreciating artwork, the creative spirit, and video games are a huge part of that for me. They're the most important part of that for me. They really do feed my spirit, the part of me that loves imagination. And I think the ultra healthy also refers to other things as well, maintaining healthy relationships, friendships, and, in your romantic life as well. All of these things come together. So I'd like to end this video by saying that I believe there's a way to play video games that can benefit other parts of your life as well, that can foster determination and appreciation for creativity, that can improve other parts of your life too, like be it your work, be it your social life, be it your creative output, whatever. Thanks a lot for listening to this little anecdote, everyone. I am going to close here. As always, after a hardcore gaming session, do please make sure you go out and get a workout or play a sport or do whatever it is that you love. I will see you in the next episode.